I just want to say, if you're thinking of building a shade house, or we'll just work on shade house. It doesn't matter what any other structure is, but just give the height a consideration, because working at height, you have risks, obviously. Like, you know, we've got ladders and scaffolds, so we're pretty confident on that sort of thing. But also, when you're trying to do stuff at height, it's always more awkward, you know? So, example, we could have gone probably another half a metre higher. Well, actually no, probably only about 400 mil higher. But that just adds a whole nother level of hardness, into the build, because you need scaffolds, you need bigger ladders, you know, everything takes time going up and down, passing materials up and down. You know, when you come in, we're going to try and lay this shade cloth on here, right? And if you haven't got enough ladders, well, you can't reach it, because you couldn't lay the shade cloth on your own. So you need like a scaffold there and a ladder in the middle and maybe a big ladder down the end. And so just give that some thought, you know, when you build something. Go, okay, well, what's a comfortable height that we can build this at? Because it's great to have something big and massive, but it's also very awkward sometimes to build. All right, let's get truss number 3 on. Wow, that's 5 up. Gives it a whole new look now. I think the words game changer come to mind with these harsh summers that we have here in the wheat belt. What am I doing today? My plan is I'm going to run some timbers this way between the trusses to kind of start tying it all in. I'm going to start with the short bay because that's just easier. Wow, probably lucky that's going to be like a bit of music put over that, because there was a fair bit of swearing going on there, I'll be honest with you. Right, so now I'm just going to run, wedge-tail eagle up there, big one too. There was 4 out yesterday, wedgies, and we still have all our chickens, so that's good. They got quite a few trees and stuff to hide under. So, let's go find some fencing wire. I know I've probably got about 15 kilometres of it somewhere, so we'll go find it. May have been a little bit hard to see because the camera doesn't really pick up the wire, but I've run it through all the holes, I've cut it off and rolled up the wire back on the roll, ready for the next run. And now I'm just deciding whether I want to put a little ratchet strainer on these ends, just instead of doing just the knot with the screw in it. So this is what I'm talking, just a ratchet strainer wire goes through the holes in here, and you just do it up with a spanner on here, and it pulls it nice and tight, and you can fix it through this end, whether you want to screw it to a timber, or I'll probably put a bit of wire through and tie it to the timber, and then go from there. I think if I do the strainer, I've got a bit more, what's the word? A bit more manoeuvrability than in the wire, because I can loosen it, strain it, you know, take it off, change it, type thing. Whereas if I cut it short and I do a knot, and put a screw through it, that's kind of it. So that wire's pulled pretty tight. Now I'm just going to get some little temporary blocks and put underneath here like that to apply some upwards pressure on the long sides, the long timbers. This one probably doesn't need it because it's only 2.4 or 2.2 I think long. So that's that run done. Not 100% happy with that, just the timbers are shitting me. Just hard to make things look, you know, kind of nice and straight. Yeah, I could have used steel, right, but the steel is like twice the price to get something of this size, and yeah, maybe we're gonna pay for it with the bowage and warpage of the timber, but you know, we're not millionaires. We're just a couple of people that gave up our jobs and bought a vacant bit of land and basically started over. So that's what we got. So we may end up using a little bit more timber than we predicted, just to try and square, twist some of this back to the position it's got to go in, and maybe some little bits of wood cut on a 45-degree angle and kind of clamp them and push them in to make everything line up a bit better. Right, I'm going to go ice pack my foot for a couple of hours and then be back. Stay tuned for more. I don't want to get splinters in my bum. Good morning everyone, how are you? We're out here. What day is it? Saturday morning. Got a little bit slack the other day. I was going to get to a certain point on the shade structure, like get the rest of these timbers in and the tension wires in. But just for me being a stubborn old bugger and the issues that I have with my left foot, climbing up and down the ladders like for a couple of hours basically just writes me off for another day or two, and I've got to have my foot wrapped in ice and elevated, and it's a little bit frustrating. In my late 20s I had a pretty simple little motorbike accident on a dirt bike. Basically the bike flicked out from under me and handlebars landed on the side of my leg and snapped my leg clean in half. But then the doctor put it back together and filled it full of screws and plates, and I don't know, he might have been in a hurry to get home that day or something, I don't know, just maybe a Friday afternoon job, I'm not sure, but he didn't really do that good a job. So we've made the decision to get a ankle fusion done. So I think to proceed with this sort of lifestyle, the ankle fusion is going to be the answer. So I'm hoping for a better life, physical life, like that doesn't, because not only does it get me down physically, it really drops me down mentally too, because I just get quite down and sad when my foot is giving me grief. So that's that. I went and saw the anesthesia. Hopefully I said that right. You know, the person that's going to knock you out for the op. So I had a meeting with them a week and a half ago and have decided not to get knocked out. What they said to do is basically just buy a good bottle of rum, put on your best pirate accent and come in, and they'll just cut it open and re-screw it and cut all the dead bone out and stuff. Maybe like 100 years ago. No, so I'm going to have a nerve block in my leg. I believe it goes in my thigh here somewhere. It's like an ultrasounded guided nerve block which will block my leg. I think I get a little bit of sedation going on, so I'm not 100% awake, but I'm not getting knocked out. So recovery is, well, all up, this is what the doctor's telling me. 6 weeks in a cast, with the first few weeks, as in maybe 3 to 4 weeks, with my foot elevated, and then after the cast I go into a moon boot. Yeah, so after about 3 months we're hoping that I will be no moon boot. I'll have a fused foot. I still have movement in my toes and the other bones in my foot, but just not the tibia to talus joint. And then I'm not sure how long after that it's going to take to sort of get back to normal, you know, duties, like, you know, like example, like climbing a ladder and fixing something, or, you know, jumping on the mower and mowing stuff, and just general pruning, and, you know, just, what do you call it, like homestead chores, just general life. But the end goal is hopefully it won't give me grief anymore. And yeah, so I'm probably going to be not doing too much outside for a few months, which will suck because I really like being outside. Hopefully I don't annoy Mrs. Rockpile too much in that time, because I might end up getting chucked outside. Me and Dozer just hanging out outside. Now, I just want to touch on like the thongs versus shoes versus boots versus ankle braces, just to help support it from day to day jobs. I have a variety of ankle braces and a variety of boots that I wear, and honestly, if I strap my foot up tight in the morning and I put my boots on and strap them up tight, I don't really feel my foot during the day, and I kind of let my stubbornness take over, and I will just continue to do stuff, and I might end up at the end of the day with a bit of a limp, still got my boot and brace on, but the second I take that boot and brace off, it's almost like my foot just collapses, and it's like flicking a switch, and then I'm stuffed for a day or two after that. So I find being barefooted, or not, just having, say, thongs or sneakers on with no brace, I can kind of feel the pain come on a bit earlier, if that makes sense, and then I know I have to rest it. Ah dear. Thanks for listening. We're back at the Shade Taj Mahal. So the other day I got the perimeter timbers up and I put the wire through the far timber, the far long side that goes all the way through, and I've just put a few little temporary blocks under it to pull it down to give it a little bit of tension. What I need to do this morning is I need to run that other wire through this long side here, Oh hi, what's happening? Through this long side, and then stain the rest of the timbers. Chickens are having a psycho. If one runs for something, all the others go, oh, we're running, let's run in the same direction. And there's just like a little army that goes, oh yes. So, and then we'll stain those timbers, and I've got another 2 rows of timbers to do through the middle. And then that'll pretty much be all the timber work for the roof, apart from some like 45-degree angle braces that will go on each post to the roof timbers to try and tie it in to stop it moving around a bit. Slow and steady, but that's all right. Rome wasn't built in a day, nor was ROCKPILE. So I'm not sure what's going on here, but someone's been busy, haven't they? Bloody chickens, these are shockers. To get that run of timber through. I've got to say, I'm a bit disappointed with the quality of Australian timber. It is crap. I've been better off building this thing out of springs, I think. It may have been straighter. So it is what it is. It's too far gone. It's too far progressed to change that now. In hindsight, maybe building something this large, if you can't get good quality timber and you're trying to build it on a budget, or maybe go for, you know, some steel tube, like square steel. This might be that little bit, it'll be straighter, definitely. And I think with these like little wire bow and arrow trusses, it'd take the bow out of it if you went for like a lighter, like a 30 by 30 square or something, or 50 by 25 something out of steel. So I'm just going to run this wire through. Then I think we might bring the scaffold around and set up on that end, possibly get ready for the shade cloth.